She was just the cook until she said no to a general's order. Asterisk, it happened in a moment no one expected. The general's voice cut through the tense air of the dusty base camp like a blade. You, bring me that prisoner's last meal. Now. Every soldier nearby paused, their eyes flicking to the woman standing with a tray in her steady hands. She was the cook, just the cook. No rank, no power, no right to question orders. But she didn't move. Her grip tightened around the metal tray as the general's gaze sharpened. I gave you an order, he barked, his patience thinning. In the humid weight of the afternoon, her voice, when it came, was steady. No, sir, I can't. The silence slammed over the camp like a sudden storm. Forks paused midair. Boots stopped mid-step. A low hum of disbelief rippled through the watching soldiers. No one said no to General Harlan Briggs. But Maria Delgado did. She wasn't just the cook. Not really. The kitchen was where she worked, but it wasn't where her story began. She'd once worn the uniform too. Once, she'd led her own unit through mountains that swallowed the sun. She'd pulled friends from burning wreckage and carried wounded strangers on her back for miles. But war takes things. It had taken her right leg, left somewhere in the sharp rocks after an ambush that none of her superiors had planned for. She never spoke about it. The prosthetic was part of her now, just as much as the long, thin scar behind her ear and the quiet that clung to her like a second skin. When they retired her, they said she'd done enough. They handed her a quiet post, cook for the base. Safe, simple, invisible. That's what they thought. But Maria saw things in that kitchen. She saw soldiers break under pressure. She saw new recruits trembling before their first mission. And she saw prisoners, some guilty, some maybe not, dragged through the dirt, heads bowed, hands shaking. And now, she saw the boy in the cage, barely 20, accused of treason, scheduled for execution at dawn. Maria had seen the evidence, or rather, the lack of it. The boy had been caught in the wrong place, in the wrong uniform. She'd overheard the whispers, read the quiet confessions scrawled in the back pages of discarded reports. General Briggs didn't care. He wanted an example made. And he wanted Maria to serve him the boy's last meal, a tradition meant to offer dignity before death. But the general had added a final instruction. Make sure the bread is laced. Quiet, fast, no mess. It wasn't the poison that stopped her. It was the lie. The dishonor, the betrayal of what the uniform once meant to her. The general's boots crushed the gravel as he approached, his shadow falling long across the ground. You think you can refuse me? Maria looked up at him, the weight of her silence pressing into every soul that watched. I can't be part of this. I won't. The kitchen staff watched in stunned stillness. The young soldiers felt the heat rise in their chests. No one moved to stop her. Not yet. Not while the general's fury built like a thunderstorm. But Maria knew something. The general didn't. She wasn't as alone as she seemed. The boy's former unit, the one that had quietly requested a retrial, had friends. Senior ones. Friends who hadn't forgotten what Maria had done years ago when she pulled their captain from the fire. The general raised his hand, his face twisted with disbelief and rage. But before his command could fall, a vehicle screeched to a halt beyond the gates. Out stepped Colonel Reeves, surrounded by military police. He didn't shout. He didn't need to. The colonel handed over the retrial orders, sealed and signed by the highest court. The execution was suspended. The boy's case reopened. The silent crowd seemed to exhale at once. Maria said nothing more. She didn't need to. The general was quietly removed from his post weeks later. His authority dissolved not by argument, but by the weight of truth that Maria's refusal set in motion. The soldiers never forgot her words. I can't be part of this. I won't. And the young ones would later whisper. She was just the cook, until she said no. Some battles are won without raising a weapon. Some heroes stand by simply refusing to kneel. If this story touched you, tell us where you're watching from. Share your thoughts in the comments. And subscribe for more stories that honor those who choose courage in silence.